Bruce Banner is a scientist involved in a science experiment that turns him into the Incredible Hulk. Banner worked for the military alongside Betty Ross, and together they worked under General Ross, Betty Ross's father. General Ross was trying to recreate the super soldier serum that created Captain America in the 1940s. Banner was forced to go on the run as a fugitive when he refused to let General Ross turn the Hulk into a military weapon. It has now been 158 days since he last turned into the Hulk. Banner is now living in Brazil. Bill Bixby from the original live-action TV show makes a cameo as Bruce scrolls through the TV. Banner takes self-defense classes and learns breathing and meditation techniques in order to help control his anger, therefore controlling the Hulk. Banner got a job at the soda bottling factory. Banner cuts himself and some of his gamma-radiated blood lands into a bottle. Banner tries to make another antidote to cure for him from the Hulk, but when he fails, he ends up having to send his blood to Samuel Stern, a fellow scientist who he's been talking to over a cryptid internet connection. General Ross learns that a man got gamma poisoning from a bottle of soda that he drank, and he learns that it was bottled in Brazil. He sends a team after Bruce Banner. As Bruce is being chased by General Ross and his soldiers, he runs into the bottling plant where he works. There he bumps into the bullies who work at the same plant as him. Banner turns into the Hulk, and as the soldiers try to stop him, he quickly destroys the entire bottling plant and escapes. General Ross tells the squad leader Emil Blonsky that Bruce Banner is the Hulk. Bruce wakes up in Mexico. As he walks the streets, the Incredible Hulk theme song from the TV show is playing. With nothing but the bullet-ridden and overstretched pants he has, Bruce is forced to beg for money. General Ross tells Blonsky about the super soldier serum in the 1940s for Captain America, and he tells him about how Banner was working on the same thing but accidentally turned himself into the Hulk. Banner makes his way to Virginia where he finds out that Betty Ross is dating Leonard Samson. Banner enlists the help of Stan Lieberg, which is a reference to the co-creator of Hulk named Stanley Martin Lieberg, who's played by Paul Soule, who was the first actor to ever voice Bruce Banner in the 1960s cartoons. Bruce poses as a pizza delivery guy for Stanley's Pizza to allow him to get access to the university. The security guard is played by Lou Ferrigno, who played the Hulk in the original live-action TV show with Bill Bixby, and also voices the Hulk in this movie. Bruce checks the school computers for the research he was working on, but ends up finding out that it's all gone. Betty gets a glimpse of Banner at Stanley's pizza place. Banner decides to leave, and Betty decides to drive all around town until she finds him. Betty gives Bruce Banner a USB drive filled with the data that he's been looking for at the university. General Ross injected Blonsky with a version of the Captain America super soldier serum, since in the 1940s, Erskine put his only version into Captain America, then immediately died right after. General Ross and the military end up finding Bruce Banner at the university, and Bruce decides the only way to keep his USB is to swallow it. Banner hulks out and rips through all the military vehicles like butter. Blonsky tries to take on the Hulk alone. The Hulk kicks him at full force, pretty much liquefying his bones. Betty walks over to the Hulk to help calm him down. A military helicopter shows up and starts shooting at the Hulk. Hulk takes down the helicopter and then escapes with an unconscious Betty. Hulk and Betty spend the night at a cave by a waterfall. Betty and Banner get a hotel room where Banner has a flashback to getting shot at by a helicopter as the Hulk. Betty gets back from the store as Bruce is trying to retrieve his data that he swallowed. Betty hands Bruce a heart rate monitor and some purple pants, which are references to Hulk's purple pants that he always wears in the comic books. Banner and Betty try to get intimate, but Banner soon stops it as he's afraid of getting his heart rate too high and accidentally turning into the Hulk. General Ross finds out that the super soldier serum that he injected Blonsky with healed his body after being kicked full force by the Hulk. Bruce and Betty go looking for Samuel Stern, aka Mr. Blue, as the military is hot on their trail as they keep checking into different computers as they email him along the way. Betty asks Bruce what is it like to be the Hulk, and Bruce responds with it's like having a liter of acid poured on your brain with only images and fragments of what happened. And Betty responds with how it seemed like it was Bruce is in there, but his mind is just overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And Bruce responds with he doesn't want to control it, he just wants to get rid of it. Meanwhile, General Ross is giving Blonsky another dose of the super soldier serum. Once they find and meet up with Samuel Stern, they begin to do an experiment on him with a cure that Samuel Stern's been working on from the blood sample that Bruce sent to him at the beginning of the movie. After the experiment, Banner, Ross, and Stern all talk together about the experiment, about what's going on and whether or not they've cured him, because they still don't know if they've cured him from the Hulk or if they just suppressed the Hulk, were able to turn him off. And they learn that Samuel Stern has many test subjects that he's been infusing with Banner's blood. As Bruce and Samuel Stern are arguing about whether or not to destroy all the research and all the test subjects, Bruce gets shot with a dart, and Blonsky just breaks into the room and starts beating up on Bruce, and to no avail, Bruce is not turning into the Hulk. Banner gets taken off by the military as General Ross says to him that if he's taken the Hulk away from him, he'll put him in jail for a long time. And meanwhile, Blonsky takes Samuel Stern and forces him to add the Hulk blood into him, turning him into the Abomination. As Blonsky is turning into the Abomination, Samuel Stern gets bumped into and his head gets cut open and some of the Banner Hulk blood gets dripped into his head and his head starts to bubble up. This is a reference or setup for the leader from the comic books, although as of 2018, January 2018, this has not been fulfilled yet in the MCU. General Ross gets word of the Abomination tearing the streets looking for the Hulk, and he knows his only option is to send the Hulk after him, but since Banner took the cure, they don't know if he'll turn, so Banner decides to fall out of the helicopter to see if he'll turn into the Hulk. The impact turns Banner into the Hulk. The Hulk and the Abomination proceed to have an incredible battle all throughout Harlem. During the battle, the military helicopter that General Ross and Betty are in gets taken down, and when it's about to catch on fire and explode, the Hulk ends up saving them by clapping so hard that the shockwave puts out the fire. The Abomination and Hulk continue to fight some more. The Hulk gets the upper hand when he starts choking him, and he's about to kill him just when Betty yells stop, and the Hulk stops and lets him live. The Hulk drops the Abomination and puts his foot on him and yells up to the sky. The military watches closely and as the Hulk disappears, but General Ross does not send anyone after him because he realized the Hulk is the strongest one there is. We find Banner in a cabin in the woods where he's meditating, and this time he's learning to control the Hulk.
Smell of stale beer and defeat. You know, I hate to say I told you so, General, but that super soldier program was put on ice for a reason. I've always felt that hardware was much more reliable.
Stark,
General.
you always wear such nice suits.
Touche. I hear you have an unusual problem.
You should talk.
You should listen. What if I told you we were putting a team together?
Who's we?